Everyone, today we're talking about whether Jesus' ministry is a secret. After this, Jesus traveled through Galilee. He didn't want to travel in Judea because the Jewish authorities wanted to kill him. When it was almost time for the Jewish festival of booths, Jesus' siblings said to him, "Leave Galilee, go to Judea so that your disciples can see the works you do. Those who want to be known publicly don't do things secretly. Since you can do these things, show yourself to the world." His siblings said this because they didn't even believe in him. Jesus replied, "For you, any time is fine, but my time hasn't come yet. The world can't hate you. It hates me because I testify that its works are evil. You go up to the festival. I'm not going to this one because my time hasn't yet come." Having said this, he stayed in Galilee. However, after his brothers left for the festival, he went too, not openly, but in secret. So this is kind of John's version of two things that we see in the other Gospels. Tension with Jesus' family and also the secrecy of his ministry. Now, you can understand the first issue, at least from their perspective, right? They grew up with Jesus. They know who he is, at least supposedly. And in fact, this is what we see later on in this chapter, people saying, "Well, we know where he's from. He can't be the Messiah." They say that familiarity breeds contempt, and that's sometimes even more so when you're familiar with your own family. But they're kind of saying, well, you have to prove that you're special, even though they've seen that he can do signs, right? So it doesn't even totally make sense from their perspective. But again, it's confusing. Why wouldn't Jesus be more public like they suggest? Now, in the Synoptic, the other Gospels, we see what we call the messianic secret. Jesus heals someone and says, "Don't tell." Now, on the one hand, that puzzles us because, well, if it's good news, doesn't it deserve to be heard by everyone? But do those who hear actually understand? I think we need to question what's behind that impulse to make sure everybody hears. Right? Jesus, don't you want to blow up and grow your brand and increase your reach? That actually comes from a desire to show off, to get attention for attention's sake. It's usually kind of self-centered. And in fact, as we see in the other Gospels, it's like the temptation from the devil, right? Just throw yourself off the temple, do something spectacular, and everyone will believe in you, right? Well, the Father's way is not so flashy. Somehow, Jesus' ministry is both open and it's a secret. There's some tension here with him saying, "No, I'm not going," but then he goes. I assume he's really responding to what they wanted him to do when he goes, right? He's saying, "I'm not going to go and be the way that you want me to be." Right? Except it's not very secretive when Jesus goes into the Jerusalem temple and starts teaching publicly. I don't know. John is confusing sometimes. Maybe also part of it is about, they say, show yourself to the world. When John uses the term "the world," that's pretty specific. That's his concept for the broken systems and distorted ways of thinking. Jesus doesn't fit in that. And so he can't operate by it. He won't be understood. And in fact, it wants to kill him. So maybe what this means is that if we try and grasp Jesus from the perspective of our power dynamics and our religious domination systems, it won't make sense. He won't make sense, even if he's right there in front of you talking to you. The open secret is that the humble, self-sacrificial, loving way of Jesus is always right there for us to follow whenever we are open to it.